day 10 of our capacity building 1,000 Nigerian civil servants, which, the program day 10. So we have 30 more days to go. And it's a pleasure to see you this time due to your commitment to learn and improving the way we work in our civil service. So um, my name is Abdul Muhammad, and I will be facilitating the class today. So as usual, we start with the outlines of the day. So the 10 outlines, number one, we are going to look up on day 9. Then we move to inserting a table in Microsoft Word. Then inserting pictures in Microsoft Word. And finally inserting shapes in Microsoft Word. Then we look at the practical parts. Then we move to question and answers, conclusion. Then we call it a day. So as usual, we have our session objectives. As for today, the participants are expected to be able to insert and format tables to organize civil service records and other activities. And also participants should be able to insert pictures such as logos, photos or project images into official documents so that the document will be more professional. And also, the participant should be able to insert and format shapes to highlight key informations in reports and other important documents. Then finally, we should be able to apply these skills in our civil service task. So on the recap of uh, the time, if you remember, we discussed about file menu where we introduced the commands that are available in the under the file menu for document management. We looked at new, open, save as, save, print, export those, among others. Then we move to the home menu bar, which we said the home menu bar contains the basic editing and formatting tools like the clipboard, which include copy, paste, cut, and also format painter. Then we also looked at the font, where you can change the style of the font, the color of the font, or the formatting of the font, where we have the bold, italic, paragraph, and also styling. And also we discuss about bullets and numbering, which are very important in organizing our work to look more professionally. So today we are going to discuss about table. So table is very important in our civil service work because it allows us to organize information very neatly into rows and columns. Thereby, we don't need to have more explanation about it because the organization of the table will make it more readable to the user. And if you look at the civil service task, you can see you might be asked to draft the attended draft. I will have maybe columns of serial number, column of designation, column of interview, and also on the rows you can have number one, where you are going to have the name of the person, the department, and all other across potent tasks. And also we can draft staff duty roster, where you can show names, designation, shift, calendar, and also dates, among others, which is also very important in our civil service day-to-day activities. And also we might consider like budget breakdown. Maybe your director or maybe your manager ask you to draft a budget breakdown, maybe for office supplies or maybe inventory or maybe for training expenses. So having a very good understanding of the table will let us understand. I'm sending a request. Okay. So as I was saying, maybe imagine we are compiling a list of staffs under our unit, maybe in our department. So inserting such information in a table will be more professional, where you can have maybe 4 columns where we have name, designation, department, and contact number, which is very important. So we are going to the practical and see how we can do that. Then the next thing is inserting pictures. You can see pictures usually make official documents to be more professional and more credible, because pictures will illustrate what we are having, so that you can have a very clear understanding when we put the professional logos in our projects or maybe reports. Like if you look at in our civil service works, we might consider maybe inserting an image or logo of the state government coat of arms, maybe if we are drafting a document in particular for Kano State, or maybe the federal government's coat of arms, or maybe like here, this program is sponsored by Hammad Technologies and Consultancy Services. We might consider putting the logo of Hammad Technologies in our assignment submission, so that the project or the report will be more professional and more credible. And also you might consider attaching passport photographs. Maybe you are drafting a posting letter that requires you to put or attach the passport photograph of the particular staff you are posting to social place, so that it can be easily recognized. Or maybe it's a promotion and you want that promotion to contain the image of that particular staff. Or maybe you are drafting information about the staff that you are having in your department, so you might consider putting images against their names, or maybe in their curriculum vitae, that's the CVs or resumes, among other things. And also, if maybe we are monitoring a report, or maybe we are in monitoring and evaluation part of our of maybe a work that we are doing, so we might consider putting project site images. Maybe we went to a field work. Maybe we are asked to gather some data in the field, so we can might consider snapping sessional pictures during the data collection. Maybe you are the data collector and you have your participant or the person you are questioning, so you might ask your friend to snap a picture for you, so that you can put that picture in your report to show that you have went to the field and here are your sessional pictures. So you see, adding images from our computer or maybe online will make the document more visual. And remember, whenever you are adding image from online, make sure you acknowledge the source of that particular image, to avoid issue of piracy or something like that. But if you have the ownership of the image, you don't need to put the source where you get that particular uh, image, I mean. So we are coming to the practical and we are going to see how we can do that. Then the next thing we are looking at is inserting shapes. So you see, we have a lot of shapes which we have illustrated in our last class. So we have the arrows, boxes, we have the rectangle, triangle, trapezium. We have a lot of shapes which we are going to see when we come to our practicals. And you see, these shapes help us to emphasize key details in our reports, or maybe if we release circular, or maybe if we release informations on the notice board. So we might decide to use arrows or maybe boxes to show key details. That means to emphasize on what we want the person looking at the report, or maybe looking at the notice board or the circular, to highlight on that particular place. So you see, if we consider an arrow, for instance, an arrow pointing to the deadline date in a circular is a very important. Maybe we draft a circular and we want all the staffs in our office to look at that particular date. That means the deadline date. So we might consider putting an arrow to be pointing that date, so that it emphasizes that we want all the staffs to put more attention to that. Or maybe if we have a box, like maybe a rectangle, okay, maybe we just put some colors in it, so that will make everybody looking at that particular report to put more emphasis on that, so that it highlights or emphasizes on key informations or details, which is very important. So I'm sorry. So now we move to the practical, so that we can see how we can apply, how we can insert the table, shapes, and also images. I hope you are with me and I'm very audible. Okay, so let me stop sharing my screen so that we can move to the Microsoft Word and see how we can apply what we have just seen here. Okay, thank you, Abdullah. You are listening to me very well. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to open my screen. So now, okay, so I believe we can all see my screen. So you see, as we talk about inserting images, tables, and what have you, when we go to the insert tab, you see we have our table here, we have pictures here, and we have the shapes. So when we click on this small arrow, you see, it explains what we are doing here. We are adding a table, and a table is a great way to organize information within our document. So you see, when you click on the drop down, you can have some boxes, square boxes, which you see as I'm navigating around the square boxes, I'm seeing a table appearing on my sheet. And normally, the first row, as I'm seeing, you see, is giving me columns. So now I selected 10 columns and one row. When I move my arrow down, I'm having about 10 columns and two rows. So like this, you see the maximum I can select here is 10 columns and 8 rows. So if I want to put more than that, like maybe I'm looking at 15 columns, 100 rows, I will have to go to the insert table. So number of columns, that means the vertical sections of the table. Maybe I need about maybe 15. And also for the rows, the horizontal parts of the table, maybe I need like, let's say 20. You understand? So here is talking about the width of the column. So I will just keep it at as auto. So when I click OK, you see it appears. Let me zoom in a little. So you see I have columns here are 15, and also for the rows, maybe if I decide to number them, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You see, I have columns. So these are the uh, columns that I have, which goes vertically downward. Okay. So for the rows, if maybe I start from 1 and keep counting downward, I will have about 20 rows as I have selected. I hope you are with me. So now let me look at the pictures. So when I click on here, the picture, it will take me to my drive. That means the hard disk of my computer where I can select any picture from any location that I kept the picture. You see, it's taking me to my drive where I can select any picture or anything that any image I want to bring here. Then if it is for online picture, once my computer is connected to the internet, once I click on online pictures, it will take me to a browser where I can be able to select the picture that I need. So you see it says, please wait while we load your pictures. So maybe it's the network connectivity that's taking a bit longer. So when we wait patiently, it will show us some pictures or maybe a way to uh, search for any picture that we want, or maybe we can decide to download the picture before we start writing our report. Then here we have the shapes. So you see we have a lot of shapes. We have a straight line, we have arrow, here we have rectangle, we have oval shape, here we have a rounded triangle. That means the edges are rounded. Here we have triangle. So you see isosceles triangle per se. So any symbol that you touch is going to give you a name of that particular uh, shape. So you see we have arrows, we have a lot of them. You can just navigate through. You see we have a lot of shapes. We have star and banners. You see this is like a banner. This is also a banner. We have the stars among many other shapes. We have even the equation shape, the plus, minus, times, and what have you. We also have the flowchart shapes, you see. So any shape that we want, we can just select on that shape. Let's assume I'm taking a rounded rectangle. So when I select on that, you see my cursor now changes to cross. So I can hold down my left click, which we have already discussed, our left click, and use my touchpad or mouse to drag across the way I want the shape to be, you understand? If I want it to be like something like a square like this, or if I want it to be straight, maybe horizontally, or if I want it to be stretched vertically, anywhere, any way I want it, it's going to be depending on how I want it to be drawn. So now, I want us to take a scenario, role play scenario, whereby maybe we are asked to draft a circular for a civil service training workshop. Like for instance, let's assume the CEO of Hammad Technologies and Consultancy Services ask you as maybe a HR manager to draft a circular and share with all the departments, okay? So that you prepare that circular inviting all the staffs to attend capacity building workshop on ICT. So to draft that circular, you see, we need to have, if we like, we want to make it to be more professional, we need to put the logo of our company. And also for the schedules, if we like, we can put it in a table. And also for the, maybe the confirmation of attendance, we need each staff to confirm that he's attending that in written per se, or maybe from each department, we want the head of that department to draft the list of the staff that will be attending that capacity building. So for us to highlight the deadline, we might decide to put it maybe in a shape. So let me start by inserting the picture. I want the picture to be somewhere around here at the center. So I will go to the insert. Then I will go to what? Pictures. Then I will navigate through the folder where I kept my image. So let me just go there. So maybe this is where I have the image. You see, I have a lot of images. This is the logo of one university here in Kano. So this is the logo of Hammad Technologies. Once I click on that, I will now come down to insert. Or I can decide to double click on that, or maybe double right click it so that it will appear. Okay, so now I double click on the image. So that I double click on the image. So you see it appears, but it occupies almost half of my page. So I'll have to make it to be a bit smaller. So let me just go to the edge. If I want stretch it vertically, I can come here and just stretch it down. You see the size is reducing, but horizontally it's still very big. So I can come to this part and also drag it. You see it's reducing in size. But if you look at it very carefully, you can see it's only moving one-sided. Or maybe if I like, I can go to the edge and just drag it. So this is how I want it to be. So maybe let me just make it a bit smaller, and I want it to be at the center. Okay, so I will press down Control E so that it's at the center. Or maybe if I like, I can come down to the home while selecting the image and select center. That's the Control E. Then the next thing is I might, let's say, consider to write a heading. Okay, maybe I want to call it circular. I'll just come down and double click down. You see, I can write circular. We have already known how to type and also format our types. So you see, as I'm typing here, it makes my image to move sideways. Okay, so to avoid this, there is what we call wrapping of what? Image. So if you come here, there is wrap text or image, you understand? So when we select on the image, we can go to the wrap. If we like, if we put it square, it means the image will be between our writings. Maybe our line of writing will be at the top and some lines will be below, and the image will be between the two writings, okay? Or maybe if we say tight, also it will be at the center. Or maybe if it is true, that means it will be through the writing. Or top, it will be at the top of the writings. You see, like we have here, the circular is below and the image is at the top. So if we select behind the image, that means the writing will be on top of the image, or if we select in front of the image, you see in front of the text, you see the text is now behind the image. So we have a lot of ways to do that. So let me consider taking behind the text so that I can have more control of the text and also the image. So now you see I can control my image, I can put it on top of the writing that I'm having. And also if I like, I can just take my cursor to the writing and just be hitting enter. You see it's moving together with the image. So now I can select back the image and take it a bit up. I hope you get what I'm doing. So if you have any concern, please, the chat box is open. Just talk to me. So now I have centered my image, and this circular, let me take it a bit back. So let me change the font size of the circular. So let me make it to be, let's say, okay, let me select this font. Then I will increase the size. So now let me also increase the size and make it a bit bold. So this is a bigger, let me reduce the size. So I have the circular here. Then maybe I will come down and maybe when I reduce the size, I can put invitation. I'm going to change the font style here. Invitation to capacity building training workshop on ICT. Okay, so let me select all of this. Let me reduce the size. Let me change it to Times New Roman. So let me reduce the size as well. So it's size 12. Then I will, okay, let me let it be bold. Then the circular, let me change it to be in italic. So you understand? So I'm coming to change this circular to be in a shape so that it will be more appealing. So now let me take a paragraph. So let me change it to be left indented because I'll be taking a paragraph. So let me write maybe the departments. Okay, it's in bold. Let me remove my bold. Okay, let me change the font also to Calibri body. So the department, or maybe let me say the CEO of Hammad, sorry, Hammad Technologies and Consultancy Limited is pleased to inform all the staffs that a capacity building training workshop is scheduled to take place as follows, and attendance is mandatory. Okay, so now I want to put the schedules in a table. That's why I put this little information. So you see now my cursor is here. So when I go to insert table, the table will appear where my cursor is blinking here. So let me go to insert table. So I want it to have 2 rows and also let's say 5 columns so that we can have the column of activity, date, time, venue, and target participants. So you see I need only 5 columns. So here I have 5 columns and 2 rows. So when I click on that, you see the table appears. So let me take another way of drawing the table. So let me Control Z this. So I'm going to the insert, then I will go to insert table. So here I need 5 columns and 2 rows. So I'll just click on OK. So now my cursor is in the first box or first cell. So I want it to be activity. Then I will hit on tab so that I can get to the next cell. Then I will put on date. then time, I'm putting tab to move to the next cell, then venue, and then finally target staffs or participants. So now I can hit on tab so that I can get to the next row, okay? So maybe the activity is maybe workshop on ICT. Then I can hit tab to the next, maybe I will select 11, let me change the format, September 11, 2025. Then I will hit on tab, time 9 p.m. Tab, then venue, virtual, via Zoom, then target participant, all staffs. So now let me customize the table. So you see, when I come to the edge of this place, you see the arrow is changing. You see, this is just in the mouse shape, the arrow. So when I take it to the edge on top of this line, you see it's changing with two arrows pointing to the left and right. So when I hold down left click and drag to the left, you see I'm expanding the line. You understand? So like on the other edge, if I put it, I can also expand to the other side so that it spans to fit in the contents. Also here, you see it changes to that shape I was explaining. So I can just drag it, you see, so that the date will also fit. So you have a lot of ways to customize that. So this arrow here, you see, it changes to like a cross arrow. So when I hold down on left click, I can be able to change the location of the table. You see, I can be able to move the table around. I hope you get what I'm doing. And also, maybe if I want to increase the number of the rows. You see, I have only 2 rows. So once I come to this edge, once I click on this plus sign, it will add row to the top of the line. You see, it added row to the top of the line. You understand? So if I want it to be below activity and above workshop, so I'll be coming to this side. You see, sorry. So when I come to the side, you see the arrow is what? Appearing. Sorry, the plus sign is appearing. When I click on that, it added a row to what? Above workshop and also below activity, which is row 2. Let me Control Z this. Also, likewise to the columns. So you see, when I come above this line of the column, when I hit it, it will add the column to the what? Right-hand side. Are we okay? Likewise here, it will add it, it will add it to the right-hand side and so on. So that's how you can be able to increase the number of rows or columns. Are we okay? So now let me customize this. You see, as I'm coming towards this edge, you see the arrow changes to black. So when I hit on that, it means I'm selecting the entire cell. Are we okay? So if I like, I can hold down shift and forward arrow so that I can select the whole row. So I want to change it maybe into bold, italic. Let me change it to Calibri heading, okay? So that it looks a bit different. And if I like, I might put color. Maybe let me put red. No, red is not. Okay, let me just choose like blue. So you see the color changes. Sorry, I mean blue here. So you see the color changes. Or if I want to change the fill or the background, then I can come here and maybe change it to like any color I want. You understand? So just try to make it more appealing. So this is what we have. And also, now I want us to put the signature of the CEO. But before that, I want us to put the deadline. So maybe all staff lists should be submitted by maybe 10th, which is today, September 10th. So let me go to insert. Let me take shape. Let me take a rounded rectangle. So let me come to this side and just draw it. You see, I draw it. This is how I want it to be. It has already come with its fill color. So if I want shape, change the shape fill, I can come here. You see, I can change it to any color I want. So let me change it to like, let's say blue, because I like blue. Then the shape outline here is the border or the line that is surrounding the shape. So if I want to change it, maybe let me select it, you see, it will change to, you can see it changing color. So if I select black, you see the border now changes to black. So let me change it to black. So this is how we put the shape. So now if I want to insert text on the shape, I can click on right click and also go to insert caption. Oh, sorry, not insert caption, sorry. Um, Add text, I mean. So when I add text, you can see I can be able to write anything I want to write. I hope you are with me. Sorry. So, so as I was saying, now we want to add text to be on the what do you call it? Okay. Please can you mute yourself?
A to ainihin yanzu kaga wanga da zambu.
Okay. As I was saying, if we want to add text in this shape, I can right click on that and go to, okay, sorry, right click on it, and you are going to have add text. Because I have already added the text, that's why it allows me to type. So I will now type submission deadline for confirmation. Sorry, let me take it September 10, 2025. So if I like, I can change the color of this writing. So by going to the format, so you see, I have the text field here where I can change the color of the text. So you see, I can select any color. So I can change the color. You see, the color now changes to red. So if I want it to be in black, I can change it to black, white. So let me leave it white. So you can see I can change it to any shape. And maybe if I might decide to change it maybe to bold. So I hope you are seeing what I'm doing. So you see it's a bit bold. So you see, once a person is looking at this document, you can easily see that the submission deadline stands out in the document. Let me look at print preview. So you see in the print preview, you can see the image is clearly seen, and also the submission deadline is also what is exclusively highlighted so that it shows a very key information. So let me just put it a little down. Okay. So maybe the next thing I can put is, sorry, let me put a signature, maybe endorsement. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, I want to put a signature of the CEO as an image. Maybe I've already drafted the signature on a plain sheet and snap it as an image. So let me say signed by CEO. Okay. So let me insert the signature. I'll go to insert pictures. Then let's assume this is the signature. So you see, I can also reduce its size. So this is the shortcut of the wrap text. So you see, I can maybe select it to be in front of the text. So I selected in front of the text. So you see, I can move it anywhere. So let me just put it here, but the size is a bit bigger. So this is what I have. So now, you see, this is the document I have. Now what I will do, since I put the submission deadline in a shape, let me put the circular too in a shape. So let me just hit enter so that it will be a little down. Let me go to the insert shapes. So let me take another shape different from the one that I have taken. So maybe let me take the oval shape. So I'll just draw the oval shape here. You see? So I'll right click on it, add text. You see it allow me to add text. So let me just cut the circular. Let me go to my clipboard cut. Then I'll come here and paste it. So you see it didn't fit. So let me reduce reduce the size where I can fit. So let me just drag this a bit down. Let me drag this one here also. You see it's already at the center. Sorry, it's at the center, the writing. Let me drag the shape to be somewhere around here. So this is the circular that we have. So you can see how we can use image, table, and also shapes to illustrate things. So likewise, the arrow, maybe if I want to insert arrow, maybe I'll go to the shapes. Let me, this is the arrow that I want. So I can just draw it here. So you see, even the arrow, if I want to insert text onto it, I'll right click on that, maybe add text. So maybe I can write something like very important, for instance. So I can just change the uh, what do you call it, the color if I like. Maybe let me change it to uh, this color. So let me change the fill of the image, you understand? So shape fill, this is in blue, so let me change it to white. You see, if I change it to white, it's white now. That means the fill is white. Or maybe let me make it gray. So the fill is gray. So you can see the shape outline. I can make it to be black. You see the difference between shape outline and the shape fill. So let me change this to black so that it will be a bit visible. So or maybe let me change it to like red, or maybe dark red. You understand? I can come back here to the home to bold it, maybe italize it. Or if I like, I can go back to the format to maybe make it to be in 3D. So you see, any way I want it to be, it will just be. You understand? So any shape that you want, you can just put it anyhow. And if I want to delete this symbol, I'll just click on it and then hit on delete from my keyboard, and it disappears automatically. So let me go to print preview so that we can see what we have drafted. So you see, when you draft a circular like this, once your staffs look at the notice board, they will quickly see the circular here and also the submission deadline. Also, you can see the table also stand out. So you see how important the table, the images, and also the shapes are in our documents. So please, after this class, I expect each and every one of us to draft something similar to that, where we can add logo, maybe the boxes, you understand, or any other thing. And also in the insert under the shapes, we also have what do you call it, text box. So text box is just a box that you can write whatever. I mean, it's normally in rectangular in shape. So you see, this is our text box. So you can be able to write anything that we want in the text box. And you see it have a rectangular outline. And the difference between text box and normal rectangle is that in the rectangle, we'll have to like have the outline of it. But in the case of text box, we might decide to remove the background. That means the shape outline. So maybe when you right click on that, you can go to the format shape. So you see it will take you here. So when you come to the fill, make it to be like no fill. Sorry, line. Also, you make it to be no line. So we are not going to see any line outline of the shape. And also for the fill, if we want it to be in any color, you see, we can change the color of it, any color that we want, so that it shows on our image. Likewise here, I can just click it by hitting on delete. So far, this is what we have, and I believe you can be able to insert image, table, or shapes in any of our documents, as they are very important in our day-to-day civil service activities. So please, if you have any question, I will be in the chat box. Let me attend to the questions because the time is already against us. And I believe we all understand what we did in our today's class. So I'm in the chat box. If you have any question, please. So do you have any question? I'm in the chat box where I believe you understand all that we have discussed. So to wrap up the whole of today's class, you see we have taken a recap on D9, and also we learned about how to insert tables, and also how to insert pictures like logos and other images, and also how to use shapes to highlight maybe instructions or deadlines. Okay, let me get to the. So what if the table exceeds 10 by 10? So let me share my screen so that we can see a table that exceeds 10 by 10. So let me hit on Control N so that I can open a new tab. So let's assume we are writing a staff list that requires us to have a lot of information. So I will go to insert. And for the number of columns, since you said 10 by 10, maybe 10 columns and 10 rows. So let me consider, let's say 15 columns. So number of columns is 15 and number of the rows is 20. So let me hit on enter. Okay. So you see I have the columns here are 15 and also, sorry, yes, the columns here, that means the vertical columns are 15 and the horizontal rows are 20. So let me input some data. Let me say this is serial number. Let me take this as ID. Let me take this as first name. Let me take this as a second name. The next one, other name. Then maybe phone number. Then maybe email address, email. So let's say maybe designation. Let me take department. So you see, the table is like getting smaller by the side because of what? The orientation of our page. So let me change the orientation to be in landscape, the layout. So let me change it to be, that means orientation to be on landscape. So you see it will be what? A bit bigger because we have a lot more number of columns. Had it been the columns are smaller, we can let our layout to be on portrait. You understand? So let me continue designation. Department, let me say sign in, maybe sign out. I'm just saying anything that comes to my mind. Maybe salary, maybe maybe bonus. Let me just call it bonus. So let me take the last one as maybe attendance. And then lastly, remark. So maybe like I'm giving a report about the staff. So you see, let me make this a bit bigger. So you see, let me also expand this so that it will be a bit bigger. It can fit what I'm doing. Let me reduce this size too. So first name. So let me expand this. So there are some Sorry, are you with me? I'm very sorry. I'm not sharing my screen. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. Let me start all over again, please. I'm very sorry. Let me delete the table. Let me delete the entire table. I'm very sorry. So what I was saying before, my orientation is in portrait. And the person asked about what if the table is 10 by 10. Sorry, I wasn't sharing my screen. I forgot totally. So I believe you can see my screen now, please. Are you seeing my screen now, please? Just give me a thumbs up, please. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Najibu. Thank you, Abdullahi. I'm very sorry. So I will go to the home, insert, sorry, I mean, insert table. Then I will go to insert table. Then here I am expecting to have like maybe 12 number of columns. And also for the rows, let me take 20. You see it, the number of columns exceed 10 and also the number of rows exceed 10. So I will click on OK. So what I was saying is, let me start by writing maybe serial number, maybe first name. Okay, let me take ID, then first name, second name, other name, then maybe phone number, maybe email address, maybe department, maybe designation, maybe salary, maybe overtime, or I should let me just call it allowance, which is different from salary, then remark or comment, for instance. So you see, the table is not giving me enough space to type whatever I need to type. So I'll just drag this one to the left so that it will be a bit bigger. Also this side, let me just drag it to the left. So what I'm saying, still you can see this place is not enough for me to type the first name. Like my name is a very long Abdul Muhaimin. So it will not fit. So I now say, let's consider changing the orientation of the paper. So I'll go back to layout. Under orientation, I'll change it to landscape so that it will fit a bit bigger. So let me make this one a bit bigger. The first name too. So the allowance, let me reduce it. Sorry, I'm trying to just make some adjustment. I believe you can see what I'm doing. So this is how we do it manually. Even though you have a way to do it automatically. So I'm just doing it manually. Okay, let me just start entering data. Maybe number one in the serial number. The ID maybe is 11, let's say 110. Maybe the first name is Ali. Maybe the second name is, let's say Sani. The other name is Abu Bakar, for instance. Then the phone number, maybe 090897653. I'm just writing at random. Maybe ali.sani@gmail.com, for instance. Then maybe the department HR designation, maybe he's the manager in the HR. Say maybe the salary is 120,000. So let me just open bracket and put naira. That means the salary is in naira. So maybe the allowance is 100,000. Maybe the remark, maybe we are talking about those that attended our, let's say, webinar. Maybe I can put attended. You understand? So I can hit on tab. So you see, I'll come to number 2. I'll just keep typing. You see, I have 20 rows and I have 15 or 12 columns depending on what I needed to do. So this is when we have more than 10 by 10 table. So I think that's also that because the time is already against us. So I believe we